Hello and welcome to this pit stop for Raid on Taihoku, a game for 2 to 4 players taking around an hour, in which players are going to take the roles of family members caught up in the raid on Taihoku or Taipei in May 1945 by the US Air Force. Players are represented on the board by these figures. You can choose from the 8 family members available. They're also going to be represented by these statistics. They've got statistics for how hungry they are, which is going to go down every round. If any of these stats ever reach the bottom, you're dead and the game is lost for the group. They also have health, which can be affected by events during the game. Their mood, serious things happen to them, is going to reduce their mood. And their stamina, which is going to set how many actions they get each turn. On each turn of the game, each player is going to take a number of actions equal to their current stamina. That's going to allow them to possibly move around the board and also to dig through these resource piles which are on the board, which come in 3 different types of stacks. There's food at the top there. Now, food is how you're going to stop your satiation, your hunger from going down too far and killing you. And that comes in great varieties like big chicken legs or red bean bread, but also you might find rotten food around the place, which is going to, deal with your satiation, but is also going to give you something else as a negative. And animal carcasses are in there, which will affect your mood if you have to eat dead pets, I'm afraid. You might find simple fireplaces, which will allow you to ignore the problems with the rotten food and the animal carcasses. And also within those food decks, there are the family pets, Peach and Blackie. Now, they will give anyone an in-game bonus, but they can also be linked to certain story effects within the game. And what you're trying to do is survive through this air raid deck till you get to the game over card with all of your surviving family members. Also within the city to help you as you dig through the different areas spending your action points, there are objects such as carts which will allow you to carry more objects because each character has got a weight limit on how many cars they can carry. There are combat helmets. Now, I said there are air raids, and these are air raid tokens on the board, and they start somewhere, and then each turn you're going to flip over and it will move these air raid tokens to other areas. And if there's a character where the air raid token moves to, then they're going to lose 2 health. And again, if it ever goes to 0, that's game over for everyone. In order to help you exploring, you can find shovels. There are bicycles that will let you whiz quicker around the city and get out to the Taiwan Grand Shrine, which is one of the special areas which if you finish your turn on it, you're going to get a little bonus to your stats. There are air raid flyers which will give you a peek at what the air raid card is coming up, so you can help you avoid the damage going on. There are also things like pogs and cloth puppets which will improve the mood of people, the characters who have been through serious events. I like to think of them as board games. And in this medicine piles, you're going to find stuff like band-aids and bandages and the mysterious herbal medical liqueur. Now, I've been talking about the air raids, and this is the timer on the game. As well as the normal air raid cards that come out, there are 3 special cards within there which have special events. There's the Mizo saves you, catches a bomb. Mizo is a sea goddess within Chinese mythology, and she catches all the bombs, and you take all the air raid tokens off, and the city has 1 turn of peace. Now, these are seeded throughout the deck, and that's the first of special events that will happen. The second one is the raid on Taihoku. Now, wherever you are on the board at that point, you're going to suffer 2 damage. So that's always a threat overhanging until it happens. And then also, I've been talking about these story effects. A lot of them get worse after the raid on Taihoku. And these special areas that give you bonuses, if you're in there at the end of the round, they all get blown up and they will no longer give you the bonuses which they previously did. The last one is the game ends card. And if you get to the turn in which that comes out and nobody's died, you're going to have won. Each round there's also events that happen to you which are usually negative, like the rainy season, which makes it much harder to move around the board. You can get rampant malaria, in which you have to end up in the hospital, you're going to be in serious trouble. There's nighttime bombing, which are going to give more damage to characters. But there are a few good things like kind helpers. If you make it to one of the temples in your turn, you're going to get a bonus. Or a family reunion, which is a great boost if you all make it back to your blown up home together. I've been talking about story elements within the game. That's because each of the 8 characters have got 3 different individual stories which they need to follow throughout the game, and you choose 1 per game. And depending on what you've chosen, it's both can give you a positive effect if you can fulfill whatever their secret mission is, their entanglement as it's called, and it's going to give you an imperative because something negative is going to happen all the time. For example, the father character might have these manuscripts spread around throughout decks around the place, and he's going to need to collect all those manuscripts up and get them down to the library, and then he gets a boost. And if he doesn't do it by the time Raid on Taihoku comes up, then he's going to have a very negative effect and his mood is going to dip right down, and he can never be happier than a 1. The younger sister is incredibly attached to the family pets, and depending on what her story is, she might get more and more upset until you find them. For the older sister, for this one, her fiance gets put into a deck all the way at the top there, which is the area that gets bombed most often in the game. And someone needs to find that fiance and get him down to the hospital, otherwise that's going to cause her negative effects. The younger brother might be a big eater, and if he's not fully satiated each round, it's going to cause him problems. Grandpa might have concern with the ancestral home and he has to stay at the blown up home, well that's going to cause him issues. Grandma might be overwhelmed by grief, and when other people suffer, she also suffers, but she needs to go to temples in order to boost her mood back up. Mother might emphasize with people, again, when they suffer, she suffers, but she can help improve your mood if you finish this turn in the same location as her. Or older brother might get a secret mission in which a top secret document is again mixed into one of the decks, and he needs to find it, and you do know what area it's in, and if he can get that down to the army headquarters, then he has fulfilled his mission, and you're going to get a sneak peek on the raids which are coming up in Raid on Taihoku. This has been a Game Pit pit stop. For more videos like this, check out the Game Pit channel on YouTube, and for more in-depth coverage of gaming, please find the Game Pit podcast.